Thank you very much. Huh?
You're over here, remember?
Jim.
Folder?
Jim.
Okay, welcome to the 2015 Oklahoma State Career Fair. Imagine yourself at Gallagher right now. I'm at the booth. It's the Exxon Mobil booth, by the way.
Can I have one of those?
Oh, excuse me. What's your name?
Ann.
Hello, Ann. So,
Hi.
Do you have a resume?
I left it over there in the corner.
Oh, well, I might need to take a look at it if you got it. I'd like to see it.
Okay, I'll bring it back by.
Okay. Well, anything you're interested in?
Are you hiring?
Well, we could be. What kind of job are you looking for?
I should probably go get my resume so I can read it.
Okay, you go get your resume and,
okay.
and we'll come
I'll be right
back.
back.
Okay. Time out, pause.
Okay, just a second.
Oh.
You can have more than one copy.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I really only need one. Yeah, you might want to.
Okay.
Oh.
But it's more than one page.
Oh, is it? Oh, you have more than one page. Okay.
Okay, you can have, it's here. That's
Well, here.
page 2 and page 1 again.
Oh, okay, good. Ann, I see. Well, do you have your? I don't see your. When you graduate?
I'm planning on graduating in May.
Oh, of next year?
That's what I'm planning on.
Okay. You think you're going to make it?
I hope so. I had a really, really bad class.
Oh.
And it just started, and I may have to drop it,
I see. Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, good. Not everybody understands.
Man, one thing
I have some personal issues too that are going on in my family life.
Really?
And well, yeah, my dad, he really wants me to come back home.
Oh, really? Well, where do you live, Ann?
I live in Broken Arrow.
Oh, well.
Do you know Broken Arrow?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, Ann, more importantly, I see you don't have your major on here, and you don't have your grade point average. Do you have any particular? I mean.
Yeah, I'm in the engineering school.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good.
And civil engineering looked interesting to me.
Okay, that's good. That's good because I'm a civil engineer. Yeah, you must have known that.
Wow. Serendipity. That is so awesome. I love it when things just kind of match up like that.
Okay. So, Ann, I'm going to give you your resume back.
Oh.
And for right now.
Okay.
And we're going to pause. So, time out. So, now we're going to fast forward for a moment. And we're going to talk about how to make the most out of the career fair and your resumes. Obviously, that was a good example of how to get things started. But before we get things kicked off,
maybe.
Ann, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay.
The real Ann. The real Ann.
Yeah. So, no, we just did a little act right there. We've been doing career fairs for a while. And we have seen many different students and many different approaches. And what you just saw was probably the approach that we would least like. So we'll talk through some of the activities that you should be doing before the career fair, during the career fair, how to get ready, and then we'll do a little act at the end of what you should be doing. Regardless, my name is Ann Lewis. I'm a graduate of Oklahoma State. I actually graduated from the Spears School. And I am now working at Exxon Mobil and have been working at Exxon Mobil since I left Oklahoma State. So it's a long, long time. We won't talk about how long. And Jim and I, yes, we have a relationship, and you can tell.
We do?
Yes, we do. we're super recruiters. Jim?
Okay, I'm Jim Penn, civil engineer out of Oklahoma State. And I don't mind telling you, 36 years at Exxon Mobil, and I've been recruiting, I don't know, for about the last 15 years as team captain for engineering. And we've seen it all. So our job here today is to educate you guys so when you show up at the career fair, you make a good impression. And our goal, my goal at Exxon is to hire as many OSU people as I can. Because if I do, then that makes us all look better. Okay? So with that, I'm going to jump into a quick little commercial about Exxon Mobil, because I mean, I got to, right? I got to sell the company, and we got to sell gasoline. But we're the largest oil and gas publicly traded company, and we've got the industry-leading resource base. We've got lots of oil and gas out there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of oil out there right now. The prices are down, but we're going to get through it. And y'all probably love it because gasoline prices are down. I'm supposed to get a little laugh, but that's it. We've got 75,000 employees around the world. So obviously we've done a lot of interviewing, a lot of hiring along the way. There's three main businesses, and probably doesn't mean anything in context, but we did make $32 billion last year, which is that's enough to get by on if you need. Agenda for today. These are the things we want to try to cover with you so you get a better idea of how to be prepared for the career fair. We'll go through some advice on your job hunt. You can read all these things, but basically is to get you prepared, and we're going to go through each one of these one at a time so you got a good idea of what to expect. And so, Ann, I'm going to let you kind of pick up this one.
So good advice for the job hunt. We went and found a few quotes, because when you go to the career fair, you need to know who you are and what you want. And some of you may have a very defined path, and some of you may have no path. I suspect more or like the latter, and more like me. When I went, I had no path, but I kind of knew what I wanted. Okay, so here, Catherine Whitehorn, find out what you like doing best and get somebody to pay you to do it. Audrey Hepburn is probably the one that most is like me. Opportunities don't often come along, so when they do, grab them. And I've got lots of truly serendipitous moments that have guided me along my path. And yes, it started here at Oklahoma State, and yes, it started at the career fair. And yes, when I went into the career fair, all I knew is, one, I wanted a job. I wanted a well-paying job. I kind of like the oil industry because of where I grew up, and that was here in Oklahoma. And that's kind of the limit. And after that, it was an open book. And I would highly advise you to be open. Don't go in just locked in on even one industry. I said I was kind of thinking about oil industry, so I kind of gravitated towards that. But I didn't limit myself to the oil industry. So I actually had a very good friend tell me, Ann, my big sister is coming with Exxon at the time, and she's going to interview. Why don't you sign up for an interview with my big sister? And I went, sure will. And my goodness, the serendipity just started happening. Okay, if you would, please.
You want to read more quotes?
No.
All right.
So what matters? So again, know who you are. And like I said, I kind of picked out an industry. Okay, I didn't pick a city or a location. I was completely open to that. Meaning I didn't mind leaving Oklahoma. And that's probably one little trick at the career fair. If somebody says, are you open to any geographical region? I would advise you to say yes. Don't turn them off with, I don't want to leave Oklahoma. Save that for later. You're going to interview for jobs. And I mean that, save it for later. Because you might find one of those interviews or one of those assignments in Houston, Texas, or Seattle, Washington, or wherever, And it was like the job for you. Okay, and you might go, wow, I never thought I'd move to Houston. That would be me. I never thought I would move to Texas. And so geography, keep it open. In the back of your mind, you may have limits, okay? And you can kind of decide, let that be a lever that you pull later if you really are locked in on a geography. Pay and company culture. We all want to get paid, definitely. Some of us probably have, I'll call it a higher threshold of how much money you want to make. That's fine, okay? Put that on your short list if that's number one for you. Company culture, big company, little company. Let's start with that one. Big company, they typically have a culture of their own, but they typically have a lot of controls on that culture. Meaning if you work for a small company, you may get hooked into I'll call it a smaller organization, and they probably have narrower margins of error, I would say. A large company, you're going to find upstream, I'm talking in my industry, the upstream's a little bit different than chemicals, and it's a little bit different than downstream. And right now I'm working in IT. I do IT for payroll. It's a little bit different than when I do IT for chemicals, and it's almost like you're working for a different company. So when you think about a company culture, you probably want to read up on what their values are. Now, I would highly recommend that.
So let me just interject a couple things, and
please.
I'll add a couple of things to what she just talked about. But one of the things that I always look at when I interview folks is what I recommend to them is you look at 2 or 3 things, and one is, do you like the industry that you're going to be working in? Because like with Exxon Mobil, we're oil and gas. We don't build airplanes, we don't build cars, but we make the stuff that goes in them, right? So kind of get focused on what part of the industry you want to be in. And then 2 is, where do you want to live? And if that makes a big difference to you, find out where that company has offices. Yeah, your main office might be in Houston, like that's where we are, but we also have offices in Oklahoma City, Fort Worth, Denver, Chicago, California, all over the country. So you take a look at it from that perspective. And then lastly, take a look at the people you're talking to, because if you like the people you're talking to, chances are you'll probably like the people that you work with. But if you don't like the people you're talking to, you'll probably end up working right next to that person if you hire on. So that's a big deal. The other thing I'll mention is on pay and benefits. At the career fair, that's you don't want to be talking about that. But one thing I will advise you on when you get ready to compare job offers, that I know you guys are all going to have multiple job offers, is the benefits. And just out of curiosity, does anybody in here know what a pension is? Anybody got an idea what a pension is? I'll just call on somebody here. What do you think a pension is? Like a 401k? Well, it's close. But I'll tell you what a pension is something that the company puts into a piggy bank for you that you don't even have to put anything into. A 401k, you put money in, the company matches it. But a pension is actually something that's going away. Not many companies have it anymore. But it's like putting money aside into a piggy bank, and they give it to you when you retire. And it forms either of a lump sum or an annual salary. The government positions do that a lot. Exxon actually has a pension. And so what you want to take a look at is, okay, well, get an idea for what that pension will be worth when you retire, and add that onto your annual salary or job offer. You'd be surprised. It makes a big difference. I know, because I'm close to retirement. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, but just to kind of close out this slide, what matters to you? So take the time to ask yourself these questions. And then we'll talk a little bit about getting ready for the career fair and how you can find out some answers to these questions. But you do need to know what you're interested in. Okay? So career fair, what is its purpose? It's twofold. It's for you to take your mental list of what's important to you into that career fair and start talking to companies about if they can match what you're interested in. And it's an opportunity for us to look at you and see if we see there a glimmer, some sort of an interest, a mutual interest, okay? So it is absolutely a two-way road. Like I was saying before, discovering things you hadn't thought about before. So yeah, you might be interested in one industry, but don't lock yourself into that at the career fair. It's the perfect opportunity to go and find out what other companies are doing. Coming from IT, I will get students coming up to me and say, I didn't know Exxon Mobil hired in IT. And I said, well, yeah, we do. And that's a fair question, very fair question. I wish they'd found that out ahead of time, but however, it's a good question. So, and then we talk about that, and suddenly there might be that spark that happens. The employers are looking for, okay, here are the raw facts, okay? We first look at your resume. We want it to be one page. I think we'll talk a little bit more about that. We need your GPA on it. The GPA is going to open the door. There are lots of companies out there with minimum GPAs, lots. And if you don't meet that minimum, probably don't have a lot to talk about. Sorry, that's the raw fact, okay? Your graduation date, all of those things are like right there at the top, and that's what we need to see immediately. The, okay, network, absolutely. You're going to go in. I love it when a freshman comes by and at the career fair. A freshman comes by and I'm like, this is absolutely awesome that a freshman is in, just to get the feel of what a career fair is like. And as you go to 1, 2, 3 career fairs, you get a little bit more comfortable, you get a little bit better at it. So if you are a freshman, great, go. If you know freshmen, tell them to go. Whether you're a sophomore, junior, going into your senior year, fine, come on down. The career fair is a great place to find out a lot of information.
Yeah, just to add on what Ann just said, I'll give you a good real-life example that just happened tonight. I had an engineer came up to me right before this presentation started. It's an engineer that we've seen the last 3 years. We haven't had an internship with that person yet, but we're working on it for next year. That person emailed me before we came up and took time out to come network and visit with me before this presentation, but the person had to leave. So find out who the recruiters are and stay in touch with those recruiters. And that way you kind of network with them and get to know them, and you'd be surprised how things develop.
Okay, so getting ready. Having that goal or objective. So we talked about knowing yourself and the things that you're interested in. All of the companies are in the directory for the career fair. Yeah, read them up, all right? Pick out the ones that you're really, really interested in. Do your research on the internet. If a student walks up, like me earlier, walking up and it's like, who are you? That doesn't go well at all, okay? I want the student to come up to me and say, hi, I've read about Exxon Mobil and I just looked at your internet. I've looked at your job postings. I like what you guys are doing. What do you have for me? That's what I want to hear. That assertiveness and that confidence. There's a little bit of acting in here, people, okay? We want it to come from the heart, but if you don't have the heart because you don't know much about the company, then just act it out, and you'll find out soon enough if the heart's there. And we keep talking about heart, and we keep talking about serendipity for a purpose. You're going to click with somebody. It's just going to happen. A plan. So kind of, you've got all of the map of the career fair, and all the companies are around the circle, okay? Map it out. Kind of know where you want to go, because you don't want to miss out on the ones, because it's really crowded in there. And you're trying to weave through, and you're going to see your friends. So kind of have your schedule as to the companies that you absolutely want to go to. Yeah, we talked about doing homework. We've talked about the time that you have. Definitely get onto Facebook, Twitter. Let's see, there's Yammer is internal, but get onto Facebook and Twitter, and we're out there. All of the companies should be, the ones that you're interested in, and there's a little message there too, that if the company you're interested in doesn't have anything on Facebook or Twitter, you might be going, Are they really kind of keeping up with the times? I would be asking that, okay? Yeah, talk to friends, family members. Have your questions ready and have your answers ready, okay? So when I ask, have you looked at the internet about Exxon Mobil? Yes, yes, ma'am, I have. Have you looked at some job postings on the hire system? Yes, ma'am, I have, and I've already signed up for an interview. Ah, excellent. Love to hear that. Do you have a resume for me? Yes, ma'am, here it is. And if we make some comment, and you'll find this, you'll hear one of us go, very good grades, you've done well. That's a signal. The door has been opened. I see you have a major and a minor. MIS and accounting. Oh, very commendable. We will give you little signals if we like what we're seeing. Listen, which means you can't be nervous, because if you're nervous, you're not going to be able to hear everything. So, buck up. Anything else, Jim, on that?
No, I think that you pretty well nailed it. I also, if you got a LinkedIn account, make sure your LinkedIn account is up to date. Make sure it matches up with your resume so that there's not any conflict, because a lot of times recruiters will go out and check LinkedIn sites. So that's an idea for you too. All right. Let me take this.
Yeah.
Build your resume. It says the limit to 1 page, and especially for the career fair, it's helpful if you put it just on 1 page, because we'll get stacks of paper. So if you get more than 1 page on there, sometimes they get separated, they get lost. Or if you have to have 2 pages, maybe print front and back. If you can do that, that's maybe not so bad. But try to limit it to 1 page if you can, and really make it so we can read it. And I even say what I'll use to tell folks is take it like a newspaper. You know, when you look at a newspaper, you've got key areas that you want your eyes to focus on. And so a newspaper, you can kind of scan real quick and find all the articles that you want to read. It's the same way with your resume. I should be able to scan real quick and see what your major is, when you graduate, and what your GPA is, and where your previous internships or whatever experience is that you have real quick. And if I can scan it real quick, I can tell you within 30 seconds, everything I need to know about you. As far as what information to include, if you got an objective, looking for an internship in the oil and gas industry, it's not. I'll tell you a little secret too. It doesn't hurt to have extra resumes. One that says I want an internship in the oil and gas industry. You might have an internship that says I want an internship in the aerospace industry. Kind of spread around a little bit. I won't know the difference, but just don't hand me one that says I want one in aerospace, because it wouldn't be too good. Contact information, make sure we know how to get in touch with you, address, phone numbers, etc. Email addresses are good. And then, of course, the stuff I just talked to you about, the GPA, when you're going to graduate, that's real important, because we can scan that real quick and determine that, okay, one, you're looking for a full-time position or an internship. As far as the experience and achievements, those are really important, because at Exxon Mobil, the things we look at is, are you a well-rounded student? I mean, you might have a 4.0 grade point average, which is great, but we're also looking for leadership qualities, because at our company, one of the things we strive for is to hire leaders, people that go out and make decisions and get things done. And of course, it helps to have the smarts to go behind it, but a lot of things we do are to make people leaders in our business. So if you put all that stuff on your resume, when you walk up to somebody, don't be bashful. Say, would you like to see my resume? Oh, yes, I would. I have a look. And so when you look at the resume, they'll scan it real quick, and as Ann just mentioned, they'll ask you questions off your resume, and then from there, you start to develop a rapport and say, are you interviewing this year? What kind of jobs do you have available? And you build it from off your resume. Okay?
If I might add.
Sure.
Get your stuff into the hire system, all right? I've already been doing data mining on students in the hire system and sending out emails for invitations that meet our minimum requirements. So get that stuff into the hire system. Pay attention to the deadlines. It's amazing. I still am amazed when I come onto campus that the interview sign-up closes almost as soon as the business career fair and the SEEK career fair happen. So do get into the hire, pay attention to those deadlines. If we want to do an interview with you after the system has closed for sign-up, we can call our friends in career services and they will open it up for us to get you into the interview, but we don't like doing that very often. So please pay attention to those deadlines. I'm tough.
That's good. They're probably all like that. So, I mean, early bird gets the worm. I'll just tell you that right up front. Especially in tough recruiting years, the quicker you get out there and get your name in front of everybody, it's good. All right, career fair day, how to dress. I won't call anybody out, but when you show up at the career fair, you know, we're going to be dressed like this. We're going to be casual, but for you, it's important that you present a professional image. You want to come dressed like you're looking for a job. If you come up in tennis shoes and a t-shirt, I don't think you're very serious about it. If you come dressed up in a nice suit, tie, a business suit for ladies, pantsuit, you know, something looks very professional, I'll say, okay, let's talk. You know, it kind of gives us the appearance that, okay, you're grown up now. You're ready to take the next step into the business world and present yourself as a viable candidate for a job. Make a good first impression. You know, the little skit that Ann and I did to start with, we did that for a reason, because we've seen it. And for me, you don't have a second chance to make a good first impression. One of the things I tell employees when they start with our company is when you walk into that door, the first time you meet somebody, you know, it's kind of like when you walk into a college classroom and the professor's whiteboard is clean. Well, as soon as you start talking, something is going on your whiteboard with that recruiter. And it's up to you to decide what's going on that whiteboard. Okay, is this person, are they dressed properly? Are they present a good image? Do they have questions for me? Mentally, they're making notes on your whiteboard right away. So you don't have a second chance to make that good first impression. So make sure you're prepared for it. Make eye contact, be very confident. You know, walk up and act like you are somebody, because in our minds you are, until you prove me that you're not. So walk up and act like, you know, you're President Hargis of Oklahoma State University. Like, you know, stick your hand out there and be ready to shake somebody's hand. And then when you shake their hand, I've had the really weak handshakes. Don't give me a handshake. It's not going to hurt you. And I don't have too many germs on there. But the other thing is have an enthusiastic smile, be confident, and attitude is really important. Your attitude comes across to the recruiters as much as anything. A good positive attitude, a good healthy self-image, just the ability to communicate with the person you're talking to, that tells us a lot about your skills, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to recruit people that we want to work with. And, you know, if I can't talk to you one-on-one, well, what are the chances I won't be able to work with you and talk with you one-on-one back in the office? So, you know, be prepared. You know, role play with your roommates. You know, practice. One of the things we do I teach a class in negotiating skills. And one of the things in negotiating skills is it's not a learned skill. I mean, you got to practice it. It's not a natural thing. Well, it's the same way when you go up to meet somebody. If you don't do it on a regular basis, then you're not used to doing it. You really don't know how to do it. So just practice. I mean, maybe when you leave here, just walk up to somebody and say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm glad to meet you. What are you here for?" And just, you know, kind of get out of your comfort zone. And so when you go into the career fair, you kind of have that same feeling, because you're going to be meeting a lot of people that you don't know. So practice. We talked about questions and so forth for the recruiters, but also, you know, if you want to take notes while you're there, it's okay, but maybe take some mental notes and maybe jot them down after you walk away, because you don't want to miss something. But it's always good to take notes, and then especially if they tell you that you need to go sign up online or someplace, make sure you got the proper information on how to go about doing that. Very important you understand the next steps, because when you get ready to leave, are you just leaving and you just left a kind of a open-ended, or did you leave with a clear understanding of what's next? And is the clear understanding of what's next is, do I need to go sign up for an interview slot? Do I want to talk to this person again? Does the industry interest me? You know, only you can answer that question. Find out, they may not be really hiring anybody. They may just be showing up just to keep their company image on campus. So ask them, are you guys interviewing? Are you hiring interns this year? Are you hiring full-time? It's a good question to ask. And then, of course, finally, when you're ready to walk off, you know, nice talking to you. I really appreciate your time. I know your time is valuable. You got a lot of people waiting to talk to you. I'm glad you took time to explain your company to me. And if there's anything I can do to further myself to get a job with your company, I'd really be grateful for it. Okay. And so that sticks in my mind. So just take some mental notes there. Anything else, Ann?
I was just thinking, we see probably around 200 people each, I'm guessing. The table that we have, we give out around 400, 500, 600 gimmies. So there's a lot of people coming through. And if you want me to remember you, then these are the things that we look for. So I wanted to emphasize that. And I guess a little bit of a put yourself in our shoes a little bit. Because if we're shaking 200 hands a day, that's a lot to process. And so if you want to stand out, these are the things that will help you stand out in that crowd. So, yeah. And a lot of times our feet are hurting, so so bear with us on that one.
Okay. Post-career fair work.
You want me to take this one?
I'll let you take this one.
Okay, fine. Believe it or not, if I still get a paper thank you note, snail mail, it still means a lot that somebody took the time to handwrite it out. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, I don't know, but I still like it. And if I don't get that, fine. If I get an email, a nice email, thank you for taking the time, yada, 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 it's beautiful. It means that you're serious about what you're doing, and it also gives me a signal, hey, I think they might actually really be interested in Exxon Mobil. And if I'm really interested in you and you're really interested in me, I'm going to go, all right, this is a win-win for both of us. And on that win-win, we're here to, it's a little weird, but we're here to replace us. A company doesn't survive if you don't constantly bring in new employees. It dies. And even though we're very creative in our senior years here, y'all are more creative than we are, I promise you. Okay, I can look back on the years and it does change. And we have to have that creativity coming in. The company will die without it. And we particularly have kind of a knack, I think, for doing this recruiting stuff, if I might dare say so, Mr. Jim. We wouldn't get to keep coming up here if we didn't have a knack. And we wouldn't get to keep coming to Oklahoma State if we didn't keep bringing cowboys back home with us.
Good
so,
cowboys.
Yeah, the right cowboy for Exxon Mobil. And I'm not advertising us here. I'm just saying companies keep coming here when they can keep getting students to come back home with them, and there's a win-win, okay? So don't doubt but what there is a win-win coming from both directions here. So you're going to come home with a lot of gimmies. Those are really cool, fun things. Enjoy them. Hopefully you're also going to come home either maybe with some pamphlets, but more importantly, the internet site. Go look them up. And if you really liked one of those recruiters that you talked to, go look at their internet and see what they're up to. And to Jim's earlier question, you know, when you ask them, are you hiring? In the oil and gas industry this year, you better ask every oil and gas company, are you hiring? I promise you some of them will not be. We are hiring. I'll tell you that right now. Some of them are not. So ask that question if you are interested in an industry that's maybe on the down, you know, pricing is down, whatever industry it might be, ask that question. Go back and look up at their internet. Get the applications in on time. Some of the applications are kind of squirrely to use. Ours has been squirrely at times, and some of the students have a little trouble getting all of the buttons clicked and getting things attached and submitted. Don't hesitate to ask a question on how to get that done. And again, if you're going through the hire system, I know Career Services can help too, but ask how to get it done if you're having some trouble with it. And then the transcripts. So yeah, I think we ask for an unofficial transcript. I think a lot of companies do. An unofficial transcript be attached to that application. So, I don't know. Anything else, Jim?
Rising issues.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll cover this. So, we kind of talked about it, but everybody has networking sites out there, social networking sites. Check them. Make sure you don't have any stuff out there that could be damaging to your reputation, if you will, especially from an employer. Like I mentioned, you check your LinkedIn profile to make sure it matches up. That's very important. We've got some companies will check your credit report. Generally, we won't do that until we've already brought you on site and we're getting ready to maybe offer you a job. So, but that's, you know, make sure you got that all cleaned up. Beware of unsolicited requests. There's a lot of scams out there. So I'll just tell you guys just to beware and keep your guard up, okay? Summary. Now then, I think this just in closing, I want to look out right now and say, okay, real quick, show of hands, how many are here at the career fair actually looking for an internship?
Hot dog.
Okay. How many are here looking for a full-time job? Okay.
Good.
In your mind, are you ready to walk into that career fair and know what it is you're looking for? It's very important because this is the time that you make a decision before you go in to sell yourself. Okay? Take a note of all the things we just talked about. Each of these are important. This is how you sell yourself. Right now, you become the #1 salesman for yourself. Because I can tell you right now, nobody else is going to sell you if you don't sell yourself. So reach down and get that confidence in yourself and walk forward and say, hey, I can do this job. You know, just tell me when and where. How do I start? I'll take you back to the days when I hired on at Exxon, just like Ann talked about. I had no more idea than the man on the moon what I wanted to do when I graduated from college. I got a civil engineering degree. I got a civil engineering degree because I thought that offered me the most job opportunities. I got to be a senior. I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to get my master's. Until I had a professor stop me in the hallway and says, Jim, why are you not interviewing with these companies coming on the campus? I said, well, I don't know what I want to do. Well, at least you can go talk to these companies, see what they have to offer, and take some of these trips around the country that they offer. I was like, well, okay. So I started. And that was the night that got me started. Talk to your professors. They can give you some good insight on the companies that you're going to be talking to. They can probably give you some good inroads to maybe to some of the recruiters. I know I talk to a lot of the engineering staff. Every year I come up. Who are some of the good students? Who do I need to be talking to? Who do I need to look out for? So don't be bashful and networking with your professors. Okay? This is you about selling yourself. Use all the avenues you can to it's not any different than trying to sell your car. You know, the more places you advertise, the more chances you're going to have a bite. So I won't read all these things in the summary, but you know what matters most to you we talked about the resume and how to make it important. You know, go with a purpose, be confident, and sell yourself. Okay? Anything else, Ann?
No, I think we can open up for questions.
Well, do you want to open up for questions, or do you want to do a
Oh, you want to do another play act?
let's do another play act. Y'all
Okay.
want to see another play act? All
Oh,
right.
sure.
Unpause. We're going to go back to the scene you just had. Welcome to the career fair.
Hi, my name's Ann Lewis.
Ann, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, too. I'm graduating in May.
Yes.
I'm going to have a degree in civil engineering. I was wondering what kind of opportunities you would have for me. I have my resume with me, if I might give that to you, please.
Fantastic. Let's have a look at it, Ann. Oh, this is great. I see you're graduating next May. That's
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Oh, you got a 3.99999 grade average.
Yes.
Oh, very good.
I'm precise in math.
Yes, a good engineer. Yeah. Okay. And I see, you had 3 internships. 2 with Exxon and, well, we won't mention the other company. But,
Yes.
that's very good.
Yeah. I don't think I met you when I was there.
No, you must not have been.
No,
Yeah, very
I'm
good.
sorry for that, but it was a great time.
Well, good.
Mhm.
Well, I assume, have you looked online to see when we're interviewing?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I've already got everything in the hire system, and I've
Oh,
already made my
fantastic.
application.
Oh, good. So
I'm
we'll-
looking forward to talking to
good.
you.
So we'll see you then maybe on Thursday or Friday when we do interviews then.
Absolutely. I just want to let you know that I'm kind of interested in going into the upstream.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I've been doing a little of analysis. I did that internship in the downstream and in chemicals.
Yes.
Okay, but I've been looking into upstream. I think that's where my heart is.
Excellent. Well, that's great. And well, I'll tell you what, we'll make sure, to double check, make sure we get the right time on your interview.
Perfect.
And we look forward to seeing you and good luck.
Thank you.
If have any
Thank you so
questions,
much. I'm
feel
so
free
glad
stop
to
back
meet
by.
you, Jim.
Oh, and did you get some of these pads?
Oh, yeah.
Pencils?
Oh, if you don't mind,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
can
Yeah,
always
yeah, yeah.
use more
Okay,
pads
good.
and pens.
Okay, very good.
Somebody told me you do this every year,
Oh,
too.
yeah. Very good.
Bye.
Good to see
Thank
Ann.
you.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. So, make it very natural, right? Make it very natural.
Yeah, I mean, that was me. So yeah, you have to let some of your own personality come out, but you turn it up a notch, okay?
All right.
Questions?
This is where you got those questions. Feel free to ask them. I have to repeat them for the TV audience. So, any questions out there?
Here. Okay, so this is a question about the dress.
Well, say he's asking a question about a bow tie versus a straight tie. Go ahead and you answer, and then I'll answer.
Okay. Mostly we see neckties, not bow ties, okay? We have actually seen a student come in a bow tie, and it was fine. It was well coordinated, a very grown-up look, all right? And it was fine. It's no problem at all. We didn't take any discount of, you're not dressing normally. It's cool.
Okay. My answer to that is go on the internet site, look at a list of all their chairmen, senior vice presidents, and see what they're wearing. If they have a bow tie on, wear a bow tie. If they all have on straight ties, I'd wear a necktie. It's kind of like the old commercial, the guy goes in and they're all shaved, got shaved heads. He goes and shaves his head. When you're in Rome, dress like the Romans. So if you're going to work and I've had people come to me for on-site interviews that I would thought would come dressed in a suit and tie, and they've come in without a tie, without the proper attire on. I'm thinking, how'd they even get past the college interview? So I think your dress is very, very important, especially for that first impression. To me, if you're going to wear a bow tie, that'd be nice if you're going to a banquet, event. But if you're coming for an interview, I think dress how the company dresses. Exxon is going to be different than Apple or Google. Okay? Think about whatever the industry is that you're in. Two different cultures. Next, who's got another question? Down here.
Is it possible to get
Is it possible to get internships if you're a freshman? Absolutely. In fact, we highly recommend it. Now, as a freshman, it becomes even a harder sell. And that's where networking with your professors come in handy, because they can steer you to the employers that will be hiring freshmen. And I can tell you that if you're a freshman, even sometimes if you're interested in like co-op positions, co-ops are good because you can get some early on experience as well as your early school years. So we actually have hired freshmen before. I mean, several. I can tell you one right off the top of my head was a freshman that a professor had recommended to me, and turned out this particular engineer revamped our whole procurement card process. The whole company still uses. So they add value.
Young lady here? Hiring international? Okay. That is a good question. So are we hiring international? Here's what we do. If you have citizenship in that country, we can connect you into that country's hiring process. Okay? As a U.S. citizen, you will be starting most likely in Houston. Okay? I know that for engineers, a lot of times they do take on new hires into the different plants and refineries and drill sites, et cetera. So to hire a U.S. citizen directly into Malaysia, probably not. Okay, now, in addition to that, we have lots of expatriate opportunities. So what we typically do is you come in for 3 years or so, 5 years, and you're doing well, and more than likely you'll get an expatriate assignment. Was there more to your question than that? We do not sponsor international people. When you look on our hiring website, and we've got minimum requirements, and you must have the right to work in the U.S. for us to hire you.
Well,
okay, so here's the theory on internship.
Repeat what she just said so
yeah,
everybody can hear it.
Yeah, so, no, that's all good. So on internships, so yes, you can be here on a student visa, and you can work on that student visa. When we hire you as an intern, and I think most companies are like this, I'm not sure, but our intent is to make you a permanent hire. And if we can't hire you permanently, we won't be offering you an internship unless there is an agreement in there that we will get you hired into that home country. Again, that win-win that we were talking about. So the win-win is that we want you to come work for us full-time, and we hope you want to come work for us full-time permanently. And if you don't have that right to work in the U.S., we probably won't give you an internship.
Well, I think it gets back to check, when you go to the career fair, there's going to be 200 companies plus there. Every company is going to be different.
Yeah.
So when you go up there and you talk to them, that's a question for you. I mean, back when you do your homework, go prepared to ask the question, would you hire international students for internships or full-time positions? Or if you're asking for an international position, then you just say, would I be able to take on an international position? Okay? Other questions?
Here.
Up here. Oh, I got one up here.
Okay.
Yell it out. Okay, so his question was, the first 2 years, he didn't have such a good GPA. The last 2 years, he had a great GPA. How do you show that on your resume? Don't try to hide it, because it's going to come out. So you can put your overall GPA and say, my last 2 years in my major GPA has been X. And then explain it. Maybe your first 2 years, you were new, you didn't know the language, you had various, I had to work, 10 hours a day to help pay for my school, whatever it could be. And just explain it to them. But that we see that all the time. So don't, as long as you're straightforward and honest with your answer, then it's good.
Yeah, that's fine. Question here? So the question is, can I sign up directly for an interview versus a recruiter asking me to sign up? Everything's posted out there. You go sign up yourself, absolutely. Most companies do have some minimum requirements, so as long as you get past those, you just sign up. Now, companies have the option of not inviting you to an interview, even if you've signed up. You may not get an interview slot for whatever reason. You'll probably not know why, but so yeah, sign up. There was one over here, I know.
Back here. What is my favorite thing about working for Exxon? I get a paycheck once a month. Let's be honest. I mean, when you go to work, to get compensated for it, right? But you also go to work to have fun. And for me, after being there for 36 years, I can tell you right now that the thing I enjoy more about going to work than anything else is the camaraderie, the teamwork, and the people you get to work with. And that you're all working for a common goal to achieve some usually very difficult task. And that's a good question to ask every recruiter you go up to in the career fair.
That's a very good question.
What do you enjoy about most working for your company? And see what they say.
Very good. Questions? Uh-huh. The question is, what are some of the more important things to ask about? I think, Jim, we prefer to have you asking questions about what we can offer to you. All right? If you ask me about some tidbit on the internet, I'm probably going to go, huh? So, and I don't mean that to be too facetious or silly, but truly, that 60 to 180 seconds that you have at the career fair needs to be about you, finding out about us, and letting me hear about you. Yeah, make that impression.
There's a question over here that, yeah.
What would you say would be an appropriate amount of time to speak with a recruiter? What's too long?
So the question was, how much time should you allow or allocate for a recruiter without taking up too much of their time? And I would say, generally, like Ann just said, 60 seconds to a couple of minutes is usually pretty good. It really depends on how much interaction you have with that recruiter. If you see that it's going somewhere, then I'll just go with it. If it's not going anywhere, I'd be prepared to cut it off. And it all depends on your interest and their interest. Just try to gauge it. I don't know.
No, that's true. It's
there's no right answer or wrong answer.
Yeah, 1 to 2 minutes.
Another question. Over here. What type of extracurricular activities look the best to a recruiter? For our company, I'm looking for things that showed me that you were a leader. If you were, whatever you're in, maybe if you're leading a fundraiser, like I led a fundraiser for such a society, or I did this, I led a charity event, or I coordinated something that shows me that, hey, I'm taking the initiative to do something outside of just general school activities. Anything. Just shows me that you're a well-rounded person with some managerial potential.
Yeah.
Very good.
Question? It can be, yeah. Again, kind of that little trigger that the question was, some recruiters don't want the paper resumes, and so should we have a business card? Sure. See if they'll take that. We love having the paper. Yeah.
Another question? What kind of skills does a recruiter like to see in a resume? Well, the skills that I like to see really, clearly everybody that goes to school now has all the software skills on a computer, so that's a natural. The other skills we like to see are mainly what kind of experience do you bring? Like, I developed a skill set in this type of engineering, or I developed a skill set in this type of accounting work. If you've got some, or some particular software that's critical to the particular job you're looking for, whether it be in an accounting software program or an engineering, an AutoCAD, or whatever it could be. It all depends on the company you're talking to, really. Okay? Who else?
There's a question.
As a recruiter, how heavily are you focused on previous work experience in the industry that you're rolling?
Well, it depends. The question was, how dependent are we on previous work history? And what I would tell you is, it depends on, are you a senior or you're a freshman? Where are you in your career? If you're a senior and you have really, I worked at Brahms scooping ice cream, well, or I'm a senior and I had 3 engineering internships, one in the upstream, one in the downstream, one in chemicals. Okay, well that would be, it all kind of depends on you, on like what year you are. Make sure that your experience is commensurate with your level of education.
Yeah, I had a student come in one time, and he worked full-time at a dairy, and he was interviewing for an IT job. And so a natural question was, well, why have you been working at a dairy and not in IT? And he's married with a family, and he had to support the family. So there's always, I guess, your story, and I guess that's what
Right.
part of what you have to explain is what your story is. If you don't have extenuating circumstances, getting those internships in the field that you want to work in it's just a lightning bolt right there. It says you've got passion for what you're wanting to go into for the rest of your life, really.
Just a side point. I hired a young engineer many years ago that walked up to me at the career fair, and I looked at her resume, and I said, well, how did you get through school? I mean, if you didn't have scholarships, well, I worked 3 jobs while I was going to school to help pay for my education because my parents couldn't afford to send me to school. And I looked down at her grade point average and I said, you worked 3 jobs and you did this? She got hired. And right now she was working in Australia, has just moved to Canada. She's got a very successful career. So if you come to the recruiter and you show that you have a work ethic, that's really important.
Yeah. I don't know how we
Another
are
question?
on time.
I see some hands right here.
There we go.
Okay, so her question is, she's working as a research assistant, and that's been your main experience. How do you build that into your resume and talking to a recruiter?
Oh, no.
There's no such thing as more or less. It all depends on your particular story and how you got there.
Yeah.
And when you talk to the recruiter, you explain that to the recruiter and just sell your story, because your story is unique. Nobody else has the same background, same history that you have on how you got to where you are to shake this recruiter's hand. And don't be bashful about explaining why you're there and how you got there. And be confident with it. Don't be bashful or shy away from it. Say, this is what I've got, this is my experience, and I feel I can do your job.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, I know Jim and I are both in the hire system with our emails, so if you think of something later, well, I'll offer up my email. I'm sure Jim would answer you too.
We'll be at the career fair next week. Stop by and see us.
Oh, yeah, on
Right?
both days. Uh-huh.
So feel free to stop by.
Who knows what we'll be doing then?
The engineering career fair is on Tuesday. The business career fair is on Thursday. So we'll be well represented at both of them. We'll probably be around here for a few minutes afterwards. If you've got a few questions that you'd like to ask,
Yeah.
feel free to stop up and we'll chat with you one-on-one. So I don't know where the...
Anyway, I think it's 6:30 and it's probably time to close.
Yeah.
But we will hang out here if anybody has just a one-on-one question. That'd be
Okay.
fine. Thank you all for
Thanks,
coming.
everybody.